Hello, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the webinar today. My name's Neil and I'm an account manager for AMS, and I'm joined by my colleague Matt, who will be taking us through a demo of the software later. If you do have any questions during the session, please post them in the chat window at the bottom right, and we'll be able to answer them during the Q&A session after. Okay, so this is the agenda for today, what we're planning to cover: a short introduction to AMS and DocUair, some of the challenges currently faced with traditional paper-based processes. We'll then run a short online poll on the problems as you see them within your current role. Matt will run through a demonstration of the storage, search and retrieval functionality within DocUair. We'll then review the benefits we can offer and summarise at the end with a chance for you to ask your own questions. It's probably worth explaining a bit about AMS and DocUair. So DocUair are the manufacturers of the document management software that we supply to our customers, and AMS are a technology company situated in Bournemouth, and we specialise in solutions for document management and secure information exchange. We are a supplier and support centre for solutions including DocUair, and also manage file transfer, cloud fax and write fax. AMS and DocUair are both well-established companies with over 50 years experience between us. And we're a DocUair Gold partner, so all of our team are fully trained consultants and engineers. We also provide custom development services if you have any bespoke requirements. DocUair is a mature and trusted solution used worldwide with over 16,000 installations, and over 175,000 users rely on DocUair on a day-to-day basis. Today, the plan is to find out how the software could help your organisation. So DocUair is a comprehensive document management solution with modules available for almost all requirements. Some of the key departments that use DocUair include finance, HR, sales, purchasing, but really any department with a document-driven process can take advantage of the software. As most of you know, document management encompasses many processes. Today, we're focusing just on the general storage, search and retrieval of documents and the potential issues users come across on a day-to-day basis. So we're going to look at some of the typical challenges that our customers raise when talking about their document process. The storage, search and retrieval process is laborious and takes a long time. So sometimes this can result in a breakdown in customer-supplier relations on time-sensitive issues, or an example could be late payments in a finance function. Mistakes can happen, and losing or misfiling a document can cause serious problems. We waste a lot of time searching for a document or creating a duplicate. And if documents are lost, it can cause problems around security and compliance, and not conforming to regulations such as GDPR can have serious consequences. We work next door to a solicitor's firm, and recently one of their local offices had a fire. So apart from some of the documents in fireproof safes, the rest were actually destroyed. So this had a huge impact on their business. So it's worth considering what protection you have in place to safeguard your business against something like this. And it's difficult to know where documents are in a workflow process. It could be sat on someone's desk while they're on holiday, or it could be buried under a load of other documents and the whole process comes to a halt. Obviously, for those who still use paper, there can be a cost associated with filing cabinets and archive boxes. And it's time consuming and costly destroying documents that have passed their retention period. So a couple of years ago, I went to visit a local school, and they have an annual event of burning all of their old records in the school field. if they had a central document management solution in place, the retention period and any removal of these documents could have been handled automatically. So as people, we're spending a lot of time looking for documents, and it's a real headache for the team when there's a lot to do, and a large proportion of our time is spent on administration. Our managers are now mobile, using tablets, and if they're out of the office, they can't access or authorize documents. This causes further delays and bottlenecks in the whole process. So I thought it would be useful to put this slide in about a Reuters study. According to this, we spend around 50% of our time searching for information. And I really think it's fair to say that we could all benefit from some form of digital document management system. And this really will give you back some of the time lost. Okay, so now we've discussed some of the potential issues that are often raised by our customers. Maybe we can find out what's the most important issue for you. So we're just going to run a quick poll. And if you're able just to, so I'll just run that poll. If you're able just to look at the poll questions and just answer them, and then we'll review the results after. Brilliant. Okay, so the biggest one, 45%, is sort of the time it takes to search and retrieve documents. So I guess we're looking at where these documents are currently stored, whether they're in paper form, whether they're stored in network directories, and really the process around that of getting that information quickly and in a good manner of time. So really appreciate that. We'll just close that off. So now we're going to look at the software and how it can be used within your department. I will mention at this point that we're only focusing on a small part around the storage, search and retrieval, and we've really tried to make this very generic. So I'll hand over to Matt and he'll be able to take you through the demo. Thank you.
So in the demo we'll be looking at the main web interface. We'll look at how we get documents into the system, how to index documents, which is how we save them using key data and keywords, and finally how to search for those documents, so using the keywords to search on and then retrieve the required files. So the main interface to DocUair is a web client, and I'm just going to take you through a few of the options that we can see here. So we have access to our document trays, which are like your in trays on your desk. We have a store option to store and index documents into the filing cabinet. We have a search dialog where we can run our searches for documents already in the filing cabinet. We have our lists view, which are like saved or frequent searches, the tasks view for document workflow actions, and the folders tab, which gives a customized folder structure view of the filing cabinet. We also have on the right hand side the document preview window, and then we also have the document tools window for things like annotations and document actions. So there's a number of different ways to get documents into DocUair. We have the ability to simply drag and drop onto the web client. We have the ability to actually save a working file directly into DocUair. So here I have a Word document I'm working on. I can use the File Save As option. I can browse on my PC to the DocUair Share. And then I have the ability to either store directly into my in tray for indexing later, or if I know some of the index entries already, I can start storing into the filing cabinet under a company name or a project, for example. For now, I'm just going to store this directly into my in tray. And when you store that, you get a pop-up to tell you that it's been successfully stored, and then you are able to close your document in the knowledge that it's inside DocUair. We also can use plugins for third-party applications. So here I've got Microsoft Outlook open, and I can actually use the DocUair plugin to store an email directly from Outlook. So I'll do that now. I'll run through this email here from a contact called Thomas Rain. I will use the Store in DocUair option, and I will copy that mail, which is copying the mail body and the attachment into DocUair. DocUair also has the ability to learn and display previously stored index entries. So if we had a contact that didn't already exist in the system, as soon as we've indexed that contact once, the next time we wanted to store an email from them, their details will be automatically looked up from DocUair. This saves the user time when they're storing away. So we can see here that I've already indexed an email before from Thomas Rain, and you can see that it's pre-populated his company name, it's taken his name, and then some of the information is pulled from the email. So we've got the email date, we've got his email address, and we've even got the email subject pulled in. Now, we can then actually start to index this away. So what I want to do is I'm going to start typing in to the project index field, and I'm actually going to pick a project number that I can store this email under. So we're sort of seeing a very quick way that we can also start to store the documents into DocUair's filing cabinets. So if I store that away, we get a pop-up to let us know that it's been successfully archived, and we also get a nice category added to the email in Outlook to let us know that this has been stored in DocUair. So now that we've got some documents in our in tray, let's have a look at how we can then delve a bit deeper into indexing those away. So if I select the Word document that I chose, that I saved into my in tray earlier, I can use the Store button, and I can store this into the document pool. Now, what you can see here on the left-hand side is these are called index fields. So this is where we can have as many or as few of these fields as you would like, and they can also be custom to the type of document that you're actually indexing. So let's begin by storing this document away. So I'm going to use the single-click capture function to take some of the information from the document itself and have that populate the index entries. So I'm picking the company name, the contact. We can also use things like drop-down lists. So we can use a drop-down list that might be a manually created select list. We could have it looking up to an external database. Or in this example here, we're actually looking at the existing documents in the filing cabinet, and we're pulling back a list of types of documents that we can save. So I will choose the proposal out because it's a quote. I'll continue just by saving some of the information. There's also standardized controls. So here we have a calendar control. We can choose a date from the calendar. And again, we have the ability of typing in and the list automatically being filtered based on what you begin to type. So I'll just finish off by filling out all the required fields for this index, for this document, sorry, and then we'll just click the Store button to complete that index and store process. We get a little bit of feedback to let us know that it's been successfully stored in the filing cabinet, and you can see the documents being removed from my in tray. Now, DocUair also offers an intelligent indexing functionality, whereby DocUair actually learns the documents that are being stored. So it can identify key fields and the data automatically from the document itself. This speeds up the indexing process, and it also eliminates any possible user entry errors. So here we can see an example invoice. If I decide to store that into my accounting filing cabinet, what we can see here is some already populated index data. So what DocUair has done is it's used that document, it's learnt from the previous documents that it's indexed, and it started to fill out some of the key information that we want when we index it away. So just to double check, we can see it's pulled in our document number automatically, it's pulled in our gross amount, and all these other bits of info have been pulled from the document. So once we're happy with that as a user, we can then simply store it away. So it's quite a bit quicker than the manual indexing process. Now there's actually also further automated processes. So that actually allows you to sort of bypass any in-trays and actually use automated indexing. And we do this using some tools called import templates and printer profiles. So now that we've got some documents into our filing cabinet, let's have a look at how we can search back and try and look pull those documents back. So I'm going to begin by doing a simple search in the company field. Again, with these fields that you see here, there can be as few or as many as you like in the search dialog. And again, these can be customized based on your documents as well, or your filing cabinets. So let's start by typing in the company name. And as you can see, DocUair has automatically popped up with the company name that matches the first 3 characters. If I did a search on that, we pull back every document that's been stored in this filing cabinet for the company Flying Tom Germany. Now that's a simple search on the company name, but what we can do is we can actually do sort of filtered searches. So as well as specifying the company name, we might also want to specify the document type. Now if I drop that down, it shows me just the document types that are in the filing cabinet that have the company name of Flying Tom Germany. So instead of giving us that big list of all the different types of document types, we know that we just want to find maybe an email that's come in from Flying Tom Germany. So if we search for that, it's brought back a single document, and it's the email document that we indexed earlier. So here we can see the first page is the message body, and the second page is the attachment that was with that email. So now that we've got that email and we indexed that earlier with a project number, we've actually set up a function called link searches. So link searches is a way that you can have a quick search based on certain document index data. In this example, our linked document is for all project documents based on the same project number. So when we indexed this earlier, we specified a project number. I might have found that document, and then I might want to find all other documents that relate to the same project. I can easily do that by using this search. And we can see it's pulled back a few different documents, a Word doc, our email, some PDFs. And you can see that they all relate to the same project number. DocUair also includes a very powerful feature called Fulltext search. So every document that DocUair indexes is automatically fully OCR'd. This means that as well as the index entries used to store the document, every other piece of text on that document can be used for searching. So that might be like a single selection of text in a large multi-page document, or it could even be line item data from an invoice. So let's do another search, and this time I want to look for all documents that contain the text lease Flying Tom, because there might be a specific lease contract that I want to find in the system. So if I type that in the full text search and hit the search button, we can see the system's brought back a document. So if we open this up and take a look, the document automatically goes to the first page that has that search text results on. And as you can see, it's highlighted each instance of that search criteria. We can then use things like the document tools to go through that document and find all examples of that search criteria. So now that I've found my lease contract, I can use some of the inbuilt tools in DocUair to sort of maybe process that document. So I want to send this to my line manager for review. I can do that very quickly from the inbuilt menu. I can actually send a request. I can pick my line manager, and then I can edit the subject and the text if I want to, and the options. But essentially what this is doing is it's going to send an email off to my line manager with a web link to this lease contract, and it's going to ask my line manager to approve that lease contract. So it's a very quick way of doing ad hoc workflow. Now for documents that require more complex workflow actions, we can utilize the full workflow tools in DocUair, and we have covered some of these in previous accounts payable and HR webinars. But we'll also be covering these further in future webinars. DocUair also allows the ability to search from documents directly from another application, maybe a CRM or a finance package, or even Microsoft Office. So let's go back to our Outlook client, and we can maybe run a search from Outlook through the Outlook plugin. So I can pick my Thomas Rain email, I can right-click on this, I can use the quick search option, and I want to find all documents in the filing cabinet based on the same sender. Now what this does is it does an inline search in Outlook. It brings up the results view from DocUair, and we can then easily see all documents in the filing cabinet that for the contact Thomas Rain, and we can even then start to double click and open those documents, maybe annotate them or stamp them if we've got the relevant permissions. We can actually also embed this type of search result into existing web pages as well. So if that was something that was of interest, we can obviously show that too. So to summarize, we've looked at the DocUair interface. We've looked at how we get documents into the system, how they're indexed and stored away, and a number of different ways that we can search for and then retrieve those documents back.
Great. Okay, so we're just going to take a look at some of the benefits that we can offer with DocUair. So maintaining a solid customer and supplier relationship we find is key to any business, and there's always room for improvement, as I'm sure you'd agree. Speeding up the time to process documents, time spent administering this process can really help work towards this goal. So with the electronic workflow and email management that we saw in the demo, it will keep documents flowing through the business, it will speed up response times and avoid any costly bottlenecks in any process. So businesses have improved relationships with their suppliers and customers and less complaints because documents are no longer being lost or misfiled. And users are now able to find documents quickly to answer queries relating to the document. Reducing paper seems to be a key strategy for most businesses. With DocUair, you'll be able to save all of your documents electronically, eliminating the cost and space required to store physical documents. And it can be stressful and frustrating when things go wrong. So having a slicker and more controlled workflow will reduce the administration overhead on users and can make a big difference to team morale. And users have the time they need to spend on more productive tasks rather than administration. And using the tools in DocUair, managers can see where documents are in the process, whether it's overdue or been stuck at a particular stage for too long. And this will help you to identify bottlenecks and to avoid any costly delays. And we have native apps for Android, iOS and Windows Mobile, so users and managers can access information on the move and authorize or reject documents regardless of location. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the webinar, so I just wanted to summarize what we've discussed. AMS really do have the experience and resource to support you throughout the review and delivery of your project. And DocUair, as we proved, is a mature and trusted solution used worldwide. And we really can make a difference to your electronic storage process by managing the movement of documents through each step and streamlining this whole process. As an organization, you'll be able to move and improve customer service and increase productivity by making it easy to search and retrieve documents, eliminating wasted time and frustration. So I hope you found this useful. We're now going to talk through any questions posted during the webinar. I just wanted to point out on this slide there are a couple of ways to contact us. or you're welcome to visit our website where we have lots of useful documentation and product videos. Also at the end there will be a post-webinar survey, so as you exit the webinar, if you could please take a few minutes to complete it, it would actually really help us to identify what you found most useful. So we're just going to have a look at some of the questions that have been raised. Feel free to post any more, but we do have a couple here at the moment. The first one is there a cloud version of DocUair? So yes, there is. There is a cloud version. We have actually both cloud and on-premise versions of the DocUair software available. The look and feel is exactly the same. It's just the back end and where the storage is sort of kept that are different. But yeah, in answer to your question, yes, there is. We've got another one here.
So there is also an on-premise version as well. So as Neil just said, there's the cloud version, but to answer your next question, yes, there is an on-premise version. There's also desktop tools. So we had another question about desktop tools. Is there a desktop client or only a web client? So obviously we focused mainly on the web client during the demonstration, but there are desktop tools. So we can have sort of monitor shared folders being monitored for picking up. We can integrate with local scanners, also local databases and other applications.
Here's one. We use Microsoft Dynamics. How can you integrate with this? So we do have a couple of tools which will allow us to integrate with external systems, including CRM and finance systems. And we can actually pull and push information from these in a number of different ways. So yes, we do integrate with Microsoft Dynamics in that way. We have a paper-based form for holiday requests. Can this be scanned into DocUair? So yes, it can be scanned, as Matt just mentioned, using our scanner integration. But also we do have a forms module. So this allows us to create web-based forms. So as an example, what it will allow you to do is generate and store an electronic version, and it will store that directly into DocUair. And just to add on that, it's not actually one document that it can populate. That information from the web form can populate multiple documents in the background. And even off of that, it can kick off a workflow in the background for authorization, as an example.
It looks like there's just another one come in. So can our mobile workers access information? So yes, they can. They can either use the mobile apps or they can use the DocUair web client directly. So yeah, you have functionality there for the mobile workers.
Great. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's everything. We've tried to answer all the questions as best as we could. We'll end the webinar now. We really appreciate your time, and we look forward to speaking to you soon.